really pisses me off about these companies is that when they decide to go after somebody that is smaller that actually told the truth.
As I was reading through, I go, that's weird. That's inconsistent.
This is what I do for a living. Look through my resume, around, and find out.
Why, hello, Louis Rossmann. You have some pretty fun fans who came over on my channel and tagged me up, letting me know that you had done a video reacting to my Splice situation. Your video is entitled Splice, DMCA Strikes Top Music Attorney for Reading, Terms of Service to Censor Legitimate Criticism. So for anyone new here, hello. I am an intellectual property, business, music, and entertainment attorney. I've been doing this for 10 years. I have a law firm and I do the whole thing, okay? And I have a YouTube channel that's specifically dedicated to music law and teaching people about the music business. It's just something I love. Now, what I also love to do is read contracts, and I love explaining to you guys the contracts that you are signing without usually reading them, which are the terms of service. When you use someone else's website, their application, and you click that little button that says, I accept, that is the contract that you are signing, and a lot of people just don't read it. So, not only do I review terms of service, but we reviewed the terms of service for a company called Splice. And Louis actually does a really nice job recapping the whole situation, so I figured we could just react to his video.
Today we're going to be discussing the music industry, and we're going to be continuing along that theme where it is that larger companies or smaller companies where they have some money decide that they don't like what somebody has said about them, they don't like when they're criticized, when they cannot win the argument of the battle of ideas, they decide that they are going to file false defamation suits or false DMCA strikes so that that criticism can be taken down. There are many times that I've been criticized on many different websites. There are people on Reddit that call me scammers, liar, cheater, thief, whatever. And when that happens, even when I know their full name, I don't file defamation lawsuits. I don't try to get their posts removed. I respond to them. Sometimes they have a small point, but they go over it in a really slanderous and disgusting way. And sometimes it's just slanderous garbage. I respond to all of it. I want to win the battle of ideas. I'm not going to win that by removing people's content. That never works.
I like that he says this. Okay, so as someone who actually represents people and celebrities and businesses, you know, there's haters online. And how you deal with them is totally up to you. If you're the kind of person who wants to block and, you know, disregard, that's totally fine. For me, I've always been more of the, I like to just kind of sass or kind of kill them with kindness, if anything. But some people just love to engage it because they're like, you know, you don't scare me, you're not going to silence me, you know, whatever it is. And that seems to be a little bit of Louis's style, which I can appreciate.
There's something called the Streisand effect. The music industry in general, I actually worked at Avatar Studios back in 2007 and 2008 in New York City, one of the best studios in the world. I think it's the only place in the 5 boroughs of New York City where you could actually record a symphony orchestra. Amazing place. I never worked in the legal side of it, but I worked in the tech side of it, fixing Studer A800s and Neve 31102s and stuff like that. But I was in the room enough at the time to understand that the music industry is a hive of scum and villainy. And that's before you get to the attorneys. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're scammers, and I'm sure
that's before you get to the attorneys? Uh-oh, where's this going?
Some of them are good people. Some of them are good people. This one I'm sure is a good person. So let's go over her particular issue. So what she decided to do is she decided to go over...
I mean, I think attorneys are terrible as well, so...
over the legal contracts, both the terms of service and something called a certified license from a company called Splice. Splice allows you to find sounds and clips and stuff like that, and that you can use inside some of your content. And she found out as a music industry attorney, professional attorney, certified by the bar, that some of these terms of service were somewhat misleading and also confusing. So she did a video that was very long and detailed where she went into this.
And one thing I just want to mention, guys, is that, you know, in my prep for my own show, I do read the terms of service in advance. And what I do is I will do a review video like I do for my clients. I literally do the same kind of service, which is you go, Krystle, here's a 40-page document. You don't want me to sit there and read the whole thing to you. I go through and I go, hey, here's some stuff you just should know. And so when I go through it from time to time, it's just some other person that's drafted this document. And sometimes there are mistakes. Sometimes there is conflicting language. It doesn't necessarily mean that the company is shady or trying to do something sneaky, but we can just point it out. And so that's what I did. In this situation, as I was reading through, I go, that's weird. That's inconsistent. Or in this particular case, one of my concerns was that I represent these people who make music and then we go and sell it. Last year, we sold $9 million of music catalog. And so it's really important that when you go to sell your music, that this certified license that we're going to talk about be able to be transferred with what you sell. And so that was one of the issues that we kind of, pointed out as far as an inconsistency.
A lot of the terms that Splice has are confusing. Some of these terms say things like the user can't transfer their agreement or rights, but this conflicts with other parts suggesting that you can freely license, remix, or adopt samples. The terms don't clearly explain how long users can access these certified licenses, which are very important for providing legal use of a sample. If I have a sample and I've uploaded that to a particular website, I need to be able to demonstrate that I am not going to get sued because I actually have the right to use this particular sample. I need to be able to demonstrate that to everybody that I'm distributing music with, or I may not be able to get my royalties. And terms also imply that you may lose access to your account and licenses after the subscription ends, but there are also conflicting statements from Splice's legal team about whether this access is permanent or whether it's limited to 5 or 6 years.
I love it. He took such good notes because here's the thing. He just disseminated like 40 minutes of content from me. So I appreciate you, Lewis. But no, it was exactly that. So I did the initial terms of service. I get the cease and desist the next day from Splice. You're misrepresenting what, is happening. You're confusing our users. I'm like, that's not my intention, but I appreciate you reaching out. That's always a good thing. I appreciate you reaching out. Let's talk about it. So we jumped on a phone call. I'm talking to their legal team, and the legal team is even conflicting with itself in regards to how stuff works. And I'm like, just tell me what it is. It sounds like you need to update your terms of service. Maybe they're a little out of date, but just tell me what it is and I'll tell my audience because this is all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to relay accurate information.
So she decided to dig into this from the perspective of a music industry attorney. And because she committed the crime of reading this company's terms of service and trying to give you her perspective as a music industry attorney so that you wouldn't get effed, she got a copyright strike on her particular channel. Not only did they say that the terms of service was something that they could file a DMCA claim for, they also were talking about how the certified license that they have is proprietary. And because it's proprietary, they can file this type of claim on you for literally reading it, as if in a lawyer who is bar certified, reading your terms of service is not the best definition of fair use that I've ever heard.
All right, so let me clarify one quick thing. So when you file a copyright claim, in this case it became a strike, you have to identify to YouTube what's the thing that you are claiming. The thing that Splice claimed was this certified license that I showed. When I showed it, the purpose was for even, me, my team, my music team and I make music. My music team and I weren't even aware of this certified license. So we just wanted to show people that this is what Splice says that you should be able to download to show to such as a music distributor. If you run into a problem, they're like, hey, we think you have a sample and you stole it. And you're like, no, I didn't. Here's my certified license. And so part of the video that I did was just showing the license and being like, hey, this is where you get it. This is what it looks like. So they file this strike, and what they claimed was the 54 seconds where I showed this license on screen. Now, in the little message that they typed to YouTube, they said also I had shown the email that they had sent me, which was the cease and desist email. So anyway, I went through the entire analysis in a separate video, but that's essentially what they were claiming.
This woman spent something like 57 seconds showing this thing on screen with their logo in a video that was damn near an hour long. And that's what they struck her for. Now, she actually offered, she said, listen, I'll have you on my channel. I'm more than happy to have a discussion with you where you can clarify anything that you want to clarify. And you know what they did? They struck her shit anyway. Rather than have an honest conversation, because I'll do that. You go to Reddit, whether it's a rights repair subreddit where I'm a hero or r/Apple where everybody hates me, I will have an honest conversation with anybody who's willing to listen. Were they willing to have an honest conversation? No. They were afraid to have that honest conversation. Rather than actually engage with somebody, they decided to just kind of remove their video.
And look, let me go back, okay? Fairness is always key. They did, in fact, reach out to me. Their email, their cease and desist was not the nicest thing, okay? But nonetheless, they accepted my invitation to jump on a phone call. Now, I did even go further, and I was like, hey, let's record our conversation so I can make sure to actually allow you to be speaking for yourself, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth or whatever. They didn't want to do that. That's okay. But again, to Lewis's point, they didn't really take the opportunity as presented, and so I just, relayed the information. And what they didn't like is that I didn't pull the punches about what they had said to me in their cease and desist email, nor the fact that there were issues with their agreement. Now, ultimately, I left it on a good note, and I'm like, you know what? Splice said that they're going to update their terms of service. They want to make sure that they are super clear. I go, that's great. And then the next day, they filed the strike against my channel.
And unfortunately, it worked. Her video is not on her platform right now, which I think is a crying shame. So what I decided that I think would be a fun thing to do is, since this agreement is considered so fucking proprietary, I figured it would be kind of fun to try and go through their website and figure out how to actually get access to this and see if I can. So how difficult is it to get access to this proprietary agreement that you're going to be receiving and that you're also going to be sharing with every single music streaming and hosting service or anybody that buys your music?
All right, so I love this. What Lewis does next is he goes in, he actually sets up an account, he pays for it, and then he's scrolling through. He's gonna, basically find a sample. He downloads this certified license, which is the document that resulted in a copyright strike on my YouTube channel.
You can download free samples during your trial. Gonna take this. Generate certified license. Full legal name, Lewis Rossmann. I am a beat maker. Rossmann. So I can download the license. Okay, I downloaded my license and I'm going to open it. So as you can see, this is a certified license, which essentially anybody can generate. It takes you 90 seconds of time to generate if you're an idiot, and it probably takes you 5 seconds of time to generate after signing up for a free account if you actually have a brain, which is more than I could say for myself. This is not some sort of secret, proprietary, top secret document. Like this is not like there's trade secrets inside of here. It's a license agreement for you. And frankly, having an attorney go through the terms of service or go through a music contract on this type of website is fair use. It's not like she's claiming with this because it has the Splice logo. She's not saying that she works for Splice. The reason that this logo is here, the reason this is here, is not so that she could claim something that's not true. Because there are people out there that use my videos. One of the most scumbag things people do on earth. I've always told people, you can use my videos however you want. Feel free to incorporate it, use it to shit on me, whatever else. The one thing I will not accept people doing is pretending that my videos on data recovery or repair are theirs. You do not get to pretend that your repair shop did those repairs.
Fair enough. And the basis of the claim was copyright. So copyright had to do with the actual text, the words. And can you copyright a contract? Yeah, there's an argument. The standard and the threshold for what you can copyright under the Copyright Act is really, really minimal. So let's say copyright carries with the little contract that they put together, then fair use is just a defense to that, right? So if you were using something for educational purposes, which is what I was doing, and I go, here's their thing, this is how it works, and I was using it on my educational video for educational purposes, so it's fair use. And then to his point, he's like, well, there's their logo, that's trademarks, right? So it's the source identifier for a brand, which can be a name, it can be a logo. And they also even, raised an issue in a separate email afterwards because I was like, hey guys, would you mind retracting your copyright strike because you did it fraudulently? And I just want to give you a little hot moment to just retract it. Let's not escalate this. And they told me to go pound sand. And then as a third note to Lewis's point, he's like, actually, don't even mind if you copyright, trademarks, do whatever you want. He goes, but don't steal my stuff and rip me off and that my publicity, right? So my publicity rights of that to my likeness, my name, my look. Don't pretend to be me. Lewis, I think that's what you're saying.
If you want have repair videos on your channel that make it look like you did those repairs, how about you fix something? You're not allowed to claim authorship of it. But over here, she's not trying to claim authorship. She's not trying to say that I work for Splice. She makes it very obvious that she has her own legal services, and she makes it very obvious in all of her videos she's separate from Splice. So the idea that this can be taken down for some sort of copyright bullshit because she's showing a proprietary document that takes 10 seconds to find that has their logo on it is bullshit. The reason that logo is there is not so that she can claim authorship of the document or pretend that she's an authorized agent of Splice. That is on the document so that she can demonstrate that what she's reading is a Splice document and not something that she pulled out of her ass.
And look, I made this point because I did get a response, like I said, from Splice right away when I had sent them, guys, this is the legal argument, here's the case law, like, you gotta pull this. You filed a false DMCA takedown. And one of the arguments they came back with, they go, this is our proprietary document, so, for confidentiality purposes, we don't want people to see this because they're gonna rip it off and make fake, and they're gonna forge the document. And I go, that would have been a good argument, but not only are you not enforcing this, because there's lots of videos all over YouTube that are years and years and years old that are all about showing the certified license, but you yourself, Splice, on YouTube, Splice, have a video dedicated to showing your license agreement. And even taking your great argument as true, it is still not copyright infringement. So for all those reasons, please retract your copyright strike. Become your own record label, which is literally if you're like, hey, I want to start a record label. Cool, I got you. Understand the entire music business. I want to set up my LLC. I want to do the marketing. It's a lot. So for example, sync licensing, for example, music marketing, it's significantly cheaper than anything you would ever get from a law firm as far as all the stuff that comes with it. And you want to make 6 figures from your music career and you want to do this for real. Like, I'm going to give you what you need.
That's something that is there for identification purposes. This would be similar to if I show you a 10K or a 10Q from a company like Verizon, they have their logo in the corner of it or something, and they say that that's a copyright violation, as if it's not fair use if somebody is using this to demonstrate the profits that they've made in a given year when talking about fines they've faced from the FTC. This is something that I find particularly despicable. And again, this is something that I've had happen to me. This is why I'm very sensitive to this, because I did a video 8 years ago where I was demonstrating to you where the fuse was on an Apple product and how to replace it when your keyboard or your trackpad doesn't work on an A1466 MacBook Air, and Apple they had Kilpatrick Townsend asked me to remove my video. And I did not remove my video because I believed I was in the right. And as the great Art Carney said, when you're in the right, let nobody push you around. Unfortunately, she has 68,000 subscribers, and something tells me she's making less off of her YouTube channel than Splice is making off of their business model.
This is true. So I'm going to be super honest, okay? As a law firm owner, I have a very big law firm, and we make all the monies. And I started the YouTube channel because A, my passion for music in particular, but B, because, I ended up becoming my own record label because I got so fed up and frustrated with the music business, and I ended up just building something myself. And then I went to law school and I learned how to become a lawyer so that I could just protect myself in my own music career. I had no intention of even becoming an attorney. So I eventually did become a lawyer. I did start a law firm, and the purpose of my channel is just to provide a resource for anybody who needs help, who's interested in learning about the music business and how to stay legally protected. And so my YouTube channel is very much not about making money, and it's very much about just providing education.
Which means that Splice would have the money to defend this in court, whereas I'm not quite sure if she would have that, which is why they would go after her. And one of the things that just really pisses me off about these companies is that when they decide to go after somebody that is smaller that actually told the truth. This woman told the truth. Is she not certified by the bar? Is she not a real attorney? Is she not giving her opinion on Splice's terms of service? Are these opinions not valid? And above all, if those opinions are not valid, and she says, I'll have you on my show, I'll record the call, I'll ask these questions, and you can provide answers to clarify. How about you pick on somebody your own size? She has 60 or 70,000 subscribers. Maybe she doesn't have the money to be able to fight you in court. I do. If you want...
Well, look, it's not so much the money thing, okay? It's more of a, do I have the resources to endlessly fight whoever I want? And do I have an army of lawyers who work for me to fight on my behalf? And the answer is yes.
If somebody criticizes me, if they say that there's an issue with my website, which there probably is because I don't update this thing as often as I should. I actually got a couple. I got a couple of things I got to update on this because there's some services we don't offer anymore because
I'm curious. I'm gonna take a look really fast. All right, so if I want to buy some awesome apparel, I can. And look at that, terms of service. You know what? But this is probably boilerplate. Yeah, this is boilerplate. Last updated 2020. I don't want to expose anybody accidentally here, but I'm just curious. I'm just taking a peek. Rossmann Repair Group. Oh, can I hire you to come? Oh, look at this. Oh, good for you. You're like one of the businesses I represent. All right, let's take a peek. Terms and conditions. Oh no. Oh dear. See, here's the thing. I don't need to expose any sneaky language. You need more. I need to make your terms of service more robust. Okay, sorry, we're getting sidetracked, people. But this is literally what I do. That's why I'm really interested in reviewing these terms of service, because I try to be fair. I go, as a company, you need to make your terms of service as robust as humanly possible because you want to protect your company and yourself and your partners from liability. But my problem is when you as a business make them so unfair, one-sided, and sometimes extremely exploitative. Sorry, I have no problem calling you out. That's not what's going on here. So let's go back to the video.
If somebody goes over my site and they criticize this website and I say, oh, like you showed the Rossmann Group logo up here on my website, so I'm copyright striking you. That's bullshit. That's fair use. They're not using that because they want to pretend that they're me, nor are they using this because the sole monetization in the video, all of it is based on that little logo. And if this little logo wasn't here, well, I guess their video would have been worthless. That's obviously bullshit, and everybody knows that's bullshit. They're using a technicality in the law that they're hoping that somebody at Google, or whoever the fuck reviews these DMC takedown notices, is not going to notice. But I noticed, and I hope my audience notices.
In the in-between space, after Splice had filed the takedown, right, their last communication to me had been, yet again, they wanted me to stop talking about them. And they wanted me to take down the stuff that because at this point I had a couple videos up. So they filed the strike, and they go, take down the stuff, you have 10 days. And, truthfully, that's always a consideration for any client that I might be advising. And it might be, look, do you want to keep going on this? Do they have a valid claim? And in this case, I'm like, no, this is a false DMCA takedown. I'm not going to back down. That's not what I preach on this channel in any kind of way. And so that same day, we recorded and released another video. So here's the quick update, because obviously this was continuing to escalate, and I ended up getting an email from the CEO. I didn't apologize for the situation, but he did say, we're working on getting the strike removed, and we're all about our creators, and we're all about the transparency of our terms, and this and that. There was no like, man, the situation got out of hand, or perhaps someone in, our legal team or our company as a whole. Like, there was nothing to that effect, okay? And not that there needed to be. I think it would have helped, potentially. But to their credit, I did get the email, and the strike was, in fact, retracted.
This is what I do for a living. Look through my resume, fuck around, and find out. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.
So here's what we learned today. Copyrights and trademarks are two different things. They commonly get confused. Copyright is the copyright in the creative thing that is made, which would be, for example, a video, a picture. Trademark has to do with brand recognition, right? A name, a logo, it can be even a trademarked phrase, a sound, even a color. But in intellectual property land, we see that both of these things often come up around the same time. We also learned a little bit about Lewis and his channel, and for anyone from my community that wants to go and check out what he's doing and support him, please go over there and subscribe. Lewis, we appreciate you. This has been an interesting journey. I'm gonna keep doing terms of service review. I draft them, I rewrite them, and I read them. So if you guys are excited, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.